Alright, next racing fans, so here's the big day. I'm going to reveal to you guys the custom aluminum oil pan that I built from scratch from aluminum. It's 5052 aluminum, so it's some good material. So I'm going to get this turned around so you guys can see the pan. So here it is, guys. What you guys think? Pretty neat, right? Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. So this was the idea that I had. This is what I kind of went off of. I knew that I wrote this line here. I knew how to get rid of these extra 2 inches right here because it was a little bit too deep. But this is kind of what I went off of. So I kind of just built it, and we built it off of that. So let's go ahead and get this out of here and show you guys the real thing. Here you go. Here is the custom aluminum oil pan I made from scratch. This is going to be for a 7-bolt motor. As you can see here, it has the dip for the oil pump or front case, whatever you want to call it. I did paint mine black for 2 reasons. I just like black, and the second reason is to show mine different than the other ones that are out there. So Moroso has theirs out there that's all silver, the same aluminum color, like the inside is all base color. So I want to differentiate my pan from those pans. So just to give you guys a little tour of the pan, the details of it, I'm going to go ahead and get it flipped around so you guys can kind of see the outside first. So I did paint mine a high temp wrinkle black, which I love how it came out. So right here we have a -10 AN fitting with a cap on it. So I put the cap on it, that way when it's not in use, nothing gets in the oil pan. If it's on the motor, you know what I mean? Obviously if it's off the motor, anything can get in it, but right here we have the oil drain plug. This is an M14 by 1.5. It is a magnetic drain plug. That's why I get it pulled off so you guys can see. So it is a magnetic drain plug. Pick up any of those metal pieces that are in there from the motor, especially from when you first start it up. You're gonna have a little bit of metal pieces in there. Once it breaks in, you'll catch those metal pieces. Everything's been tested, leak tested, to make sure nothing leaks. And we have a 1/8 NPT plug here. And so this is on there a little bit. Oh, this is loose. So this is a 1/8 NPT plug there, and that's going to be for your oil temp sensor. So if you want to put an oil temp sensor on there, you can do that. So we have our -10 AN fitting here for your turbo oil drain. You have your drain plug here to drain the oil out from your oil changes, and then we have a 1/8 NPT here in the lower, I would say, left hand corner of the pan, so you can put a oil temp sensor in. All right, let's go ahead and get this flipped around. Show you guys some of the inside and what I've done so far. All right, so this pan roughly holds 7 quarts of oil. So I went ahead and filled it up with water to a point where I believe it's going to sit in the engine once it's filled up. I haven't measured it exactly. I'm trying to get a dipstick and dipstick tube to put on the motor so I can put it through to see exactly where it hits in terms of how high it's going to be, but roughly 7 quarts of oil. So obviously you guys can see in here, this is the AN fitting here. This flat part here is degree down just a little bit towards the opening. That way once the oil comes from the turbo, it'll go and drain down back into the pan. And just in case any of the oil that comes up from the pan here hits up here, it'll go ahead and drain back down as soon as possible. So it is kind of slanted down just a little bit, not really extreme, but a little bit. Same thing for this little piece right here. This piece right there is slanted down a little bit as well. That way if any oil gets on here, it goes right back into the pan. As you can see, it is welded all in the inside here. The welds are not perfect. I had an issue with the TIG torch where it was messed up. I did not realize it until, you know, I was almost done welding all of the interior. I fixed it, and that way you guys can see on the outside, the welds on the outside look a lot better. So these welds would look a lot better next time. The next pan I would do, the welds will look a lot better. Anyway, but it does not leak, so that's all I'm worried about. I don't care about how the welds look in the inside. Obviously there's going to be oil in there, so I don't care how it looks as long as the functionality of it works. There's no leaks anywhere, so I've tested it for leaks. There was a couple spots that did leak where I added a little bit more filler into there so it stopped leaking. So I've tested it about 6 times, so there's no leaks anywhere. I've got the little flange here smoothed out. So here's the basis of the pan. A lot of people asking me, how come you didn't put any baffling in it? Why didn't you do, you know, why'd you make it the way you made them? Here's why. So I left this opening here just enough to where the oil pickup tube would fit in there. So let me go ahead and grab the oil pickup tube so I can show you guys what it looks like. So this is the oil pickup tube that has been modified for my build, which is going to be rear wheel drive. So the pickup is open towards the back of the motor, so it'll be somewhat like this towards the back, to the opening towards the back. That way if the car ever does do a wheelie, the oil is going to go towards the back and the opening is towards the back, so it's always going to have oil in it. That being said, once it's filled up with water and it does do a wheelie, let's just say for something like that, comes back down roughly, let's just say 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, back down. There is a lip right here. So this goes back even more back here. So it has room back here, so where the oil is going to sit. So, and it has this lip up top to prevent the oil from going to the back of the motor. So, and what I did was I made little gaps on the corner. Let's see if you guys can see it. You guys can see that gap right there. There's another gap over here. That way, if it does do that, it does have a way of moving some of the oil towards the back. That way it's not splashing everywhere. It's not gonna, you know, go like this and then it has literally nowhere to go. I do want some of the oil to kind of have a way to go back, and then obviously, like I said, this is slanted down, so the oil comes straight back down once the car comes back down. So I have tested this a couple times. What I did was I put some water in here, and I did the test like I did in the other video. If you watch my other video, I did like this on the other oil pan that I had, and you guys saw that 80% of the water just went towards the back and kind of came out. Obviously it's not going to come out, it's just going to sit there in the back. With this one here, I did the same thing, and I would say 5 to 10% of the water came back here, but the rest of it stayed right here. So this lip is long enough to where when I go like this and hold it up, the angle of the water and in the pan kind of angles towards this way. So the oil pickup is going to be roughly right here towards the back. So that way if it does do a wheelie, there's going to be oil here at all times. So, and I also did put oil in there. I mean, I actually did put oil in there first to see if it leaked. Second, to splash it around to see the consistency of it and see what it does in terms of, let's just say I hit a corner or I slam on the brakes. obviously I don't mean this pan is not, this one right here that I'm making for me is not meant for the street, but I wanted to see if I did take it on the street and I hit a tight corner, or I hit on the brakes, or slam on the gas, see what the oil would do. So I did put some oil in there, I splashed it around, and 95 to 90% of the oil stayed in the pan. Some of it came up here, like I said, but this is angled down, so it kind of went right back in there. Same thing here, I'll say like 5% of the oil came up here, but it came right back down into the pan. So this is something that I'm not worried about in terms of baffling. A lot of people say, oh, put some baffling in there, put some baffling in there. This pan does not need any baffling. If I put some water in there now and shake it and turn it and go like this and go like that and turn it, there's always gonna be water, oil where the pickup tube is at. So I'm not worried about any type of baffling on this. The benefits of it is I have this lip right here to where if the oil comes and splashes against this part right here on the bottom, it'll splash and maybe come up this way towards this lip right here. And like I said, this lip is slanted down just a little bit to where it's gonna hit, come here, go right back into the pan, quick. Same thing with this. So if the oil comes through these two gaps here, it'll come here, go right back into the pan because it's slanted down. So the benefits of it is we have a huge pocket in here, got a huge pocket in here to where the oil is gonna sit almost to this line here, almost. So I would say probably a 1/4 inch, maybe not even probably 1/8 of an inch under this piece here. So it doesn't have much room to splash around. And if it is, like I said, if it is gonna splash around, it's just gonna hit this top part right here and it's gonna go right back into the pan. And this is coming from this pan here that I had made before. I showed you guys this pan in the last video. As you can see, there is no baffling in this at all. There's nothing at all, just this small lip here. And this is where I got the idea from. This lip helped a little bit, so why not extend it out a little bit more? And obviously we have that front pocket in the front, which helps hold the oil. That way, if you do a wheelie or have a tight turn or whatever, the oil from here is going to go right in there where the pickup is. So there's always going to be oil where the pickup tube is at. Any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them below. And if you are interested in one of these pans, this is for you. If you're interested in one of these pans, my recommendation for this pan is, if I do build another one, I could build it exactly the same as this. If you like this design and you like the way it came out, you like the oil drain there, the 1/8 inch 1/8 NPT plug there for the oil temp sensor, the -10 AN fitting, you like the look of this, the layout, I can build you this exact same pan. Whether it be 6-bolt or 7-bolt. For 6-bolt, you would be looking at roughly $475, and if it's for a 7-bolt, you are looking at $500. And the only reason for that $25 price difference is with the 7-bolt, you do have to get this lip here that dips down perfect. If not, it will leak oil. So this here is, I would say, almost perfect. I messed with it a little bit more to make it to where it, lines up here, but to where it lines up here. So we'll go from that. So that being said, and it will come, the $475, it will come with that 1/8 NPT plug in the back for your oil temp sensor. It will come with the -10 AN fitting. It will come with the oil drain plug with the magnetic plug on there. It will come with this cap on here to cover the -10 AN fitting. It will come with the plug to plug up the 1/8 NPT down there. That way, if you don't want to use it or you're going to use it at a later time, you'll have a plug on there so it doesn't leak. So that is just for the pan itself. So $475 for the 6 bolt, $500 for the 7 bolt, and I would say roughly 2 to 3 week turnaround time on each pan. So that's what we have, 2 to 3 week turnaround time. Now, if you wanted it to be, you know, if you wanted a custom pan, I can do a custom pan. If you don't like this design, let's just say you want it 1 inch less of the depth, I can do that, which I kind of do recommend doing a little bit, maybe a 1 inch depth less than what I did. It would hold about probably a quart less, so instead of 7 quarts, you'd be looking at 6 quarts. This front pouch here, I love the layout of this and the design. Same thing in terms of the lip in here, how this lip comes and kind of covers up. If you don't like it and you want to create your own custom one, and you want to give me your drawings, your idea, and say, hey, I have an idea, this is kind of what I'm looking for, can you do it? Hey, just send me a message on Facebook. Go ahead and go on Facebook on Next Racing and look us up on Facebook. There's a message button as soon as you get there. Send us a message and say, hey, I want a 6-bolt oil pan, 7-bolt oil pan. I want the same exact design that you built yours off of. Or if you want a different design, send me your drawings or tell me your ideas, and I can come up for a drawing for you and show you my ideas, and we'll go from there. And if you do want to order one, payment will be up front because I do have to get all the material ordered to get it built up. Give you guys some measurements in terms of the dimensions of this. So this piece here is 2 inches right here. The pan itself in length is roughly 9¼ inches. From here to here, it's 9 inches. Here to here, 9 inches. 9¼ roughly. From here to here, it is 12 inches, so 1 foot. From here to here is 4 inches, and from here to here is 3 inches, and from here to here is 7. So you have 7 inches here, 2 inches there, 9 across, 9 across, 4 inches there, 3 inches here, and 12 across. So just so you guys have somewhat of an idea. And in terms of the fitment of the pan itself on the block, in terms of it being flat on there and not have any high points or low points, it fits perfectly flat on the block. So that'll be nothing to worry about. And that comes into my next problem. The problem that our 7-bolt guys have, and maybe the 6-bolt guys have, I'm not really sure, but they probably do, but the 7-bolt guys don't really have an oil pan gasket. And I believe from the factory it just came with RTV, and I don't want to get RTV all over a brand new pan that you just built, and then every time you take the pan off, you got to clean the RTV off and put a new layer on there, So what do we got here? We got this cork gasket that I got from AutoZone, and I said, a cork gasket. So I read the reviews online, people saying, oh, they break easily. Let's flip it over because it's on backwards. They break easily. If you tighten it down too much, all they're going to do is crack and snap, and then all I do is leak. So I said, can't have a leaky gasket. So what are we going to do? Here's the solution. Alright, Next Racing fans, I left you guys with that little teaser right there. We're going to do something about that non-existent oil pan gasket. That cork one that really doesn't even work. Sometimes it works, it leaks, it breaks, it snaps. So, we fixed one issue with making a custom oil pan that works for the 7-bolt. Now we got to make something that's going to make sure it does not leak. So stay tuned to the next video. Coming out in a couple days so you guys can see what we're coming out with. everything we're doing here is custom, you know what I mean? Custom work everywhere. So stay tuned for the next video. Remember, stay tuned, we're next racing.